Today we're going to be diving into options. Understanding what they are and how they work is crucial because without the right knowledge, they can quickly lead to losses, sometimes really big losses. Trading options can be profitable, however, they need to be treated with care as they can be a lot riskier than just being long or short a stock. In this video, we're going to be going over what they are, why they're used, and the two main types. I'm also going to do my best not to use three of the most popular adverbs that spew out of every derivative trader's mouth that I've ever met. Those three words are synthetically, hypothetically, and theoretically. It just confuses everybody. If it confuses me, it's going to confuse you, I guarantee that. So let's take the fear out of investing and learn about these complex derivatives in a simple and easy to understand way. What are stock options? A stock option is essentially a contract. It gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation, to buy or sell a specific stock at a certain price, called the strike price, within a set period of time, with that time frame ending at what's called the expiration date. So straight up, an option is a derivative of an underlying asset, which means it's going to mimic characteristics of that asset, such as its risk, value, and its basic term structure. Throughout the video, we are just going to focus on stocks, and I'm going to keep everything pretty vanilla. Ice, ice, baby. Also worth saying here that options can be American, which means they can be exercised at any time before expiration, and European, which can only be exercised on the expiration date. Think of an option as a way to reserve the ability to make a trade in the future. It gives you optionality, hence the name option. Here's an example. Imagine you're a huge Star Wars nerd. And above all else, you're a die-hard Jar Jar Binks fan. Misa Jar Jar Binks. And there is a limited edition woodblock print going on sale for $200. That's actually going to be signed by the actor who voiced Jar Jar in Phantom Menace, Ahmed Best. You're not sure if you really want it, but you got the look, and it's pretty sick, and also you don't want to miss out in case it becomes super valuable, which you think it will. So you paid $20, your premium, to reserve the option to buy it at $200, your strike price, anytime until the last day of the following month, which is what your expiration date is. Now, let's just say a new Star Wars series drops and it's entirely focused on Jar Jar Binks and his hidden backstory of being a Sith Lord called Darth Jar Jar. And demand for this woodblock print skyrockets. Its price doubles to $400. You still have the right to buy it for $200 because you locked it in at that price when you made your reservation. If the price stays the same or drops, you can decide not to buy it, meaning you don't have the obligation to do so. You just lose your $20 reservation fee. So stock options work in a very similar way. But Misa buys a data woodblock print no matter what sees. Now let's look at the main two types of options. Call options and put options. Keep in mind that one option generally represents 100 shares of the underlying stock, and we're buying here. So in essence, we are going long. Call options. If you think the stock will go up, you buy a call option. This gives you the right to buy that stock at the strike price. For example, if the stock is trading at $50 and you buy a call option with a strike price of $55, you'll profit if the stock rises above $55 before expiration. Put options. If you think the stock will go down, you buy a put option. This will give you the right to sell the stock at that strike price. For example, if the stock is trading at $50 and you buy a put option with a strike price of $45, you'll profit if the stock falls below $45 before expiration. Now remember, the most you can lose when buying options, either calls or puts, is the premium that you paid. So you know your maximum loss right from the start. How do you gauge the moneyness of your option? Well, there are three ways. In the money, ITM. A call option is in the money when the stock price is above the strike price. Out of the money, OTM. A call option is out of the money when the stock price is below the strike price. And then there's at the money. A call option is at the money when the stock price is the same as the strike price. If your option expires OTM, out the money, or ATM, at the money, it will expire worthless and you'll lose the premium paid. What about selling options? Well, when you sell options, you collect premiums, which means you're generating income. Selling options is essentially shorting them. When you sell a call, it's the same as shorting a call. When you sell a put, it's the same as shorting a put. Also, when you sell an option, you are in effect writing an option. We say write when a trader sells an option to open a new position because just saying sell is unclear if you're selling to open a new position or selling to close. Selling a call option. When you sell a call option, you agree to a contract to sell a stock at a specific price, the strike price, if the buyer decides to exercise that option and buy that legal contract. In return, you collect the premium up front. So why would someone sell a call instead of buying a put? Well, again, because they can collect the premium.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
If you already own the stock and short a call, this is called a covered call or a call overwriting strategy, which is considered relatively safe because you already have the shares to sell to the buyer if the stock rips against you and the option is exercised. You can also sell a call naked.
What?
Meaning you don't own the underlying shares. But this is very risky because since you don't have any stock to give the buyer at that stock price, you would have to buy those shares in the market, wherever the market's trading. If the stock is ripping, it could be way over the strike price, and you could be buying these shares at a humongous loss. The loss could be huge. Honestly, when selling a call naked, there's no limit to your loss. Imagine if you sold a call naked on NVIDIA, you'd be crying. Example of a covered call. Imagine you own 100 shares of a stock trading at $50. You sell one call option with a strike price of $55, and you collect a $2 premium per share, which is $200 total. Now, if the stock stays below $55, the buyer won't exercise the option, and you keep both the premium and your shares. Woohoo! If the stock rises above $55, you'll sell your shares at $55, even if the stock is worth more, but you keep the $200 premium. So the equation would be 100 shares times $5 equals $500, plus your $200 premium, which equals $700. See how that works? Selling a put option. When you sell a put option, you agree to buy a stock at a specific price, the strike price, if the buyer exercises that option. In return, you collect the option premium up front. So why would someone sell a put instead of just buying a call? Well, because they're okay with buying the stock at the strike price, even if the stock falls below that strike. It's often used as a way to potentially buy stocks at a discount at a level the investor really likes, while also earning income from the premium. So here's an example of shorting a put. Imagine you sell a put option on a stock trading at $50 with a strike price of $48, and you collect a $2 premium per share, meaning $200 total. If the stock stays above $48, the buyer won't exercise the option, and you keep the $200 premium as profit. Woohoo! If the stock falls below $48, you'd be required to buy 100 shares at $48, even if the market price is lower. However, your effective cost is reduced by the $2 premium you collected, making your actual purchase price $46 a share, which is how you should look at it. So why use options? Well, there's a few reasons. One is to hedge risks. This is like an insurance policy for your investments. For example, if you own a stock and you're worried about the price might drop, you can buy a put option to protect yourself. Sure, you lose your premium, but if the stock tanks, you're protected. Second, to generate income. You can sell options to collect a premium, as we said before, and this is a strategy often used by experienced investors with a solid understanding of the risks. And if you're selling a put, potentially buy a stock at a discount where it's currently trading. If you believe a stock will move significantly in one direction, you can use an option to potentially profit without buying the stock itself. It gives you leverage or a multiplier effect. And that's options, folks. At least that's the long and short of it. They may seem complicated at first, but at their core, they're just contracts to give you flexibility in your investment decisions. One thing I didn't mention is that when you open an option contract, you need to be on it and all over the price action throughout the duration of the trade. Don't just set it and forget it like it's a rotisserie chicken grill. I honestly would recommend putting 50 vanilla cash or stock trades on before I thought of dipping my toes into the deep abyss that is options. Look at some of your winners and look at some of your losers and see if you could have played these trades a bit differently by utilizing optionality. It's always good to go over and backtest your trades and have that deep and meaningful conversation with yourself about how you could have played it differently. I do it all the time, and the reason I do it is so when the opportunity presents itself again, I'm ready. I've seen this situation. I know what to do. And I just engage. So that works for me. But listen, no one is born great at this. That shit's in the movies. Believe me, getting good at trading and investing takes hard work and putting in the reps. If you'd like to learn more or have questions, drop them in the comments below and I'd be happy to help. I hope this took a bit of the fear out of options for you, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and stay in the loop for more content to come. Remember, kindness is the rent we pay on earth, so do something nice for someone.